What's going on, everybody? I'm Tony. Welcome back to the Honda Grom race bike build. This is part 3. In today's video, we're going to be getting rid of these bars, these levers, these grips. I'm going to be swapping it out for all brand new parts. There's nothing wrong with these bars. They're just not comfortable to me for some reason. They're a little bit too wide. Wanted something that was just a tiny bit higher and with less sweep. So I've heard a lot of good things about the Honda mini bars on these Groms. So I figured get those and go that route. The grips definitely got to go. So I got a pair of Renthals. We'll throw those on there. And then I'm not a big fan of the OEM levers. So I've got some aftermarket ones. Aftermarket ones, they're just cheap knockoffs. But I've heard from a lot of people that these actually feel pretty dang good. So if you follow along, whether or not you're replacing aftermarket bars, OEM bars, I'll walk you through the full process of taking the bars off, drilling out your new bars, and then getting them set up to your liking. So let's go ahead, let's get these bars off, and we'll start getting the new bars on. If you haven't seen this before, getting the bars off of these things, really easy. I'm gonna turn the camera back around so that you can see it. So starting over here on the clutch side, you've got two Phillips head screws right here on this control. You've got two 8mm right here on the clutch itself. You gotta pop these 4 Allen heads out. On mine, I had to remove the Allen head from the actual head bar here. On throttle side, pretty much the same story. 2 8mm here with the brake and 2 Phillips head right there with the control on the throttle side. But pretty easy. I'm gonna go ahead, get these the rest of the way off, and then we'll start figuring out how to get the new bars on. Here we go. Old bars off. You can actually see the bars right here. Pretty wide, not a bad bar, just didn't really fit me all that well. Got the new bars, gonna go ahead and get those mocked up. Throw these here so you can kind of see them against one another. So the new bars aren't as wide, and the sweep, the angle of them isn't quite as extreme, a little bit more flat cross. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the new bars packaged up. They are going out to a dude in Minnesota. Certainly hope he likes them, but let's go ahead and get these new bars on here, and we can start figuring out how to get the bars drilled, and then we'll start working on getting the new clutch and brake levers installed as well. The controls, they've got these little like metal dowels. You could see that right there. So we'll have to measure that up, get the new bars drilled so that everything sits, doesn't turn, and we'll kind of go from there. But let's get those bars on there and we'll start drilling. Big thing I didn't anticipate, I actually had to take the bodywork off of the right side of the bike. I couldn't get the throttle tube on without adjusting the throttle cable. So pull the bodywork off the side. Tons of videos out there that kind of show you how to do that. There is a little plastic cover that covers the throttle cables right here. Pull it out, 8mm bolt, that's all that is. And then literally all you have to do is either tighten or loosen the upper or lower throttle cable in order to give you the type of pull and tension that you want. Now, I know a lot of people have issues when they swap bars out. Throttle tubes itself will stick. This is the fix and the solve for that. So if you have any issues and you don't have a quick response, pull the bodywork off and adjust the throttle cables right there. Pretty straightforward. So I'm gonna get the side of the bike button back up, and we'll be pretty good to go. And there you have it. I got the new bars, grips, and throttle tube on. I didn't get around to throwing the levers on there, but that's 2 bolts and you're done, so I'll go ahead and knock that out in a future video. So as you know, I swapped out the old bars, the CR highs for the Honda Minis here, threw on some medium compound Renthal grips, and also Motion Pro throttle tube. I was looking at like an $80 throttle tube, but somebody actually recommended that Motion Pro made one that's kind of like a quick turn for the Groms. It's right here, Motion Pro, model number 0094. It is not intended for the Grom. It's intended for Yamahas, Kawasaki, Suzuki's, not the Honda Grom, but it works amazingly, works swimmingly. Pretty straightforward install. I didn't go into a ton of depth, but if you have any questions, feel free. Just go ahead and throw those questions down in the comment section. I'd love to help you out. Now, that said, there are a ton of videos out on YouTube that go into depth, so just search those up and you'll get all the answers that you could need there as well. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, you got 2 Phillips heads here, 2 Phillips heads here, 2 8mm bolts on the master cylinder and the actual clutch, the levers themselves. Hardest thing I would say is actually finding the perfect measurement to drill out your bars for the controls. All I did is I just measured the distance from the end of the OEM bar to the actual hole that was drilled in the OEM bar, and that was it. For me, I didn't anticipate the whole like throttle cable thing, so having to pull the bodywork off of the right side of the bike wasn't ideal, but it was pretty straightforward. It was pretty easy. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and call this one quits. Appreciate you stopping by again. I'm Tony. We'll see you in the next one.